Hello, everyone. Susan Gerbic. I opened up Zoom and it is very different from what it was when I was using it yesterday. So I've been fiddling around and I don't know how to get it to go back. It seems to be there is a new hub and what is it about? Why do they have to change everything so fast? Can't they ease us into these changes? No, they just boom. So this is weird. Anyway, okay, let's just go with it and see what happens, okay? Apparently, I can still screen share and do other things that I was doing before. Okay, so I was asked, sorry, everybody. I was asked by Mel Phillips, 969, who asked on our channel if I would look into George Anderson. Now, I have never heard of George Anderson before. Maybe the name sort of sounds familiar, but Mel said that George Anderson was on a TV show in the 1990s and was curious if he's hot reading or what's going on with him. Okay, well, so I mean, I can look, but it looks like this guy's been around a very long time, 40 plus years. I saw a quick video of him doing an interview saying he's extremely Catholic. He is um just thinks he's the OG, I guess. I'm looking at his YouTube channel, George Anderson Medium. He has 21 videos, joined in 2023, has 861 subscribers. That just doesn't even feel right. I mean, if you are been around for 40 plus years and you're the OG of spirit mediums, you would think you'd have more followers than that. Also, what I'm noticing, let me share this with you. I think I can do this. Also, what I'm noticing is that he does a lot of stuff about, he talks about what it is to be a medium. So it's more interviews and more his thoughts. So there are some mediumship readings I've seen. Let's see if there's anything under live. Ah, September. Oh, Q&A. I wonder if there are readings here. I don't want to just look at a Q&A. Oh my. He's a colorful kind of person, isn't he? All right. Okay. Well, then again, people would say I'm pretty colorful too. Let's see if we can find something else because, when you look at their own YouTube channel, then you're only going to get videos that are curated by them. I'm more interested in just unedited readings by him. I see the Helping Parents Heal has some stuff, but again, it was just a interview talking about all the things he's done, all the people he's helped, all that kind of stuff. Okay. See if we can find something that's not super long. They connected him up to some wires. Whatever. Fluor's Phantom Files did a wonderful job talking about these electromagnetic stuff on these people's heads. It's basically what it is. It's just untested, unscientific, pseudoscience that looks really good. Here's a reading. It's from 9 years ago. It's uploaded by somebody named Amanda Cooney. And it looks like they're making a video of a video. Mandy Cooney, Coney, has 6 subscribers. This video has 5.3 thousand views. There are 6 comments. One of them says, I had a reading with George Anderson. I believe he's the real deal. Whew. Sorry, I've been working in the yard all day. I would only do a reading with him. He told me things he wouldn't have known knowledge of. It gave me peace. That's the only thing I care about. Okay, so if people are lying to you and they tell you the things you want to hear, then and that gives you peace, well, fine, you're an adult. Somebody else says, look into George Anderson. He's the real deal. Well, we are watching the video. There's the comments under a George Anderson reading. Somebody named Sharon says, why can't they say a last name? My point. And then somebody else says, what do you want? George Anderson to print out a spreadsheet with 100% guarantees? It's called the mystical, and you can walk away from it or be open to it. But either way, you're right, because no one knows what is next until we pass on. So until then, don't be a killjoy for people who are open to the mystical and allow people to enjoy what they wish. I think it's interesting, but I allow for those who disagree. It's all good. Okay. Another person says, my mother was suckered into this nonsense with this dude, traveled all the way to L.I. in secret. Well, my parents were going to Maine for usual family visits. Oh, Long Island, I guess it is. What's going on with that Long Island place? They have transcripts and notes and recordings. She wouldn't say, but in her checkbook, now that my dad and mom are both gone, was some $1,500 for a setup an appointment. She was so upset over my sister's death that she was looking for anything. What I see is taking total advantage of grieving people and sucking the blood out of them. Wow, this is from a year ago. This recording and notes are unclear drivel. I guess that's what we're about to watch, or what is she's talking about what she found after mom died. Okay, as was my mother's recounting of it when first revealed, mentioning people with common names my mom didn't really have a big relation with, but she filled the blanks in. Not real accurate depiction of my sister. Saying all that doesn't make sense. Do you really believe these loved ones are following this person around constantly, or they will come at a snap to the right place just for this communication? Even if you think of the afterlife, lots of this medium stuff makes no sense. Good person. My father went along with just about anything my mother wanted and never got his take on it outside of her hearing. We missed our chance. Okay. He didn't seem overly enthused. And then another comment says, cold reading, guessing. He will guess until he gets a hit. So, I don't know. I'm game. You guys game? Let's take a look at this. It's 9 minutes long. We may have to stop and start because I can't help but give comments. Okay, share computer sound. It's in a different place than it was yesterday when I used Zoom. I assume you can see me. Oh, look, there's a little thing that I can put here of myself. But I'm looking sideways because my camera is here, but I'm looking at this on my second screen. All right, so you guys are going to look at my head sideways. Okay, I don't know what to expect, but it says that this is George Anderson made this a live video book group reading at my book launch of it. Let's see what's there.
All right, let's see. I'd like to move on because somebody else is.
There you go. Now at least I'm looking at the screen.
I hope I'm doing the right thing. Don't help. Remember, it sounds like I heard the name Annette. Makes sense at all? Wait a minute. Let me just start over again to make sure I didn't make a mistake. Because actually, it could be two souls, and because it sounds alike. I heard Annette, but I also thought I heard Jeanette. Okay. Wait, give me the signal to start over again, so go back to what I originally heard. Definitely, this individual passed on the name Annette. Okay. Yeah, I mean, even, family, friend, whatever, because family's used very lightly from over there. It can also mean people by term of endearment. Good friend will come in like a brother or whatever. But there's a female presence that came after George and told me her name was Annette, but passed on. And who said yes again? Okay. Yeah, okay. I just want to see what she says to me. So I'm not positive yet. No, this one states she is family, yes? Real McCoy, because she's saying to me, when they say real McCoy, that means actual. Without explaining, there's a motherly feeling with her, understood? Because actually comes to you as mom, yes? Because that's why I keep giving you the hairy eyeballs. When she comes as mom, your actual mom, because she's telling me she's the real McCoy. Now I know. See, that's why I don't want you to say anything. Let them they'll find you. Actually, too, she does give me the impression she did pass kind of young, yes? I mean, you don't look like an old bag. But
Oh.
in all essence, she does tell me she did pass on relatively young by today's standards. And just so you would know where my head's with that, anybody less than 70, I consider that young by today's standards. And if somebody thinks I'm stretching, well, my aunt passed last year and she was 91, so there's my challenge. Now, she definitely insists, which I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear, but still nice to hear it, being around you like the guardian angel. Yeah, but she legit did pass young, yes? Because she keeps dropping me. Now, I don't know if she's kidding or not, so don't say anything. But she kind of joked at me she was younger than me. So if she was less than 64, absolutely, I say if I croak at 64, I'm going to consider it young. So she definitely passed young. And as she states, does draw very close to you from over there. Feels you and she could have got to know each other better. That there was a gap of communication, but I think it's because of the young passing. Whereas she said, which is true, and nothing can really take this feeling away. Unfortunately, you lose your mom, you feel you don't have a home to go to anymore. Now, she does speak, and don't help me, she does speak of her folks being with her. So apparently the maternal grandparents there as well. Also, too, without explaining, she just put white lace over your head and said congratulations. Now, without explaining, because that can mean 10 different things for me, so don't say anything. I learned that lesson with St. Philomena. So she puts white lace over your head and congratulated you. And again, don't help me. Either it's happened or it's about to. Not 40 years ago or not 50 years up ahead. It's obviously hearing some sort of joyous or happy news that affects you singularly. And without telling me, you know what it is, and she just wants to make sure that you know she knows and was a part of it. And because she knows you've wondered if she knew. And she does. And she knows that's going to make you feel a heck of a lot better. Naturally, you'd rather have her here physically. And also, as she states, she hopes that her passing didn't frighten you. Because again, your mom passing young, Mrs. Jones next door was fine. You feel almost singularized. Now, don't say anything because I don't know what she means, but you did bring your dad up. So, does call out. I'm just going to leave it with you because I don't know if she means he's there or here. I can't ask you, you can't tell me. So I'll just say what I heard and leave it alone. Interesting, there is birth around you. Because St. Philomena just appeared behind you, and that's the sign of a happy birth. But it feels as though it's in my lap, which, without helping me, which would mean it either has happened recently or it certainly is about to. I almost get the feeling from your mom it's happened because she speaks about the birth of a grandchild. Now that obviously she's aware. That's probably the white lace and all that put together over your head. Yeah, I just realized that. I know what it means now because I kept seeing the Mouseketeer around you. Remember, Annette Funicello was a Mouseketeer, going back to way before your time. But definitely, your mom knows I used to watch the Mickey Mouse Club, so. But again, very much embraces you with love. Also wants to make sure you know she's very near on Mother's Day. Maybe not the way you would have liked, but next best thing, as she says, better than nothing. Yeah, because she did have a tough time prior to her passing, yes? But she admits it was scary. You being much younger, nothing you can do about it. This has nothing to do with religion either, but St. Barbara also appeared behind you, and she appears like if somebody felt like they were almost in prison, or like stuck. And the saint reached out to you in compassion because at that time you certainly felt that way. But as your mom states, as long as you know she's with you, she's all right, and happy place, you'll sleep better tonight. Hope it'll take some of the bite off at least. But as she assures you, when your time comes, and it ain't going to be by the weekend, when your time comes, she certainly will be there to welcome you over. Just wants to make sure that you don't feel you are abandoned. Because again, mother's the heart and soul of the home. All right, but she says she's going to move on, so let me see where it goes next. Again, don't hit me. Something I saw, the name Jane made sense with anyone?
Okay, I guess that's it. Stop share. Oh Lord, that was awful. Um, jeez. Okay, I don't know if that's him at his best, but that was pretty rotten, pretty awful. He used the law of large numbers, which is there's a bunch of people in the audience. He throws out a name. Who does that mean? Who does that relate to? Based on what it is the person's relative age, he can decide if the person's a living, their parents or their grandparents are dead, whoever, whatever he wants to say, because we can't see the person. Um, Annette or Jeanette, or maybe it's two different names, two different people. I guess somebody raised their hand at Annette. It could be a friend or a family member or whatever. And finally, he's like, I'm getting a motherly feeling, which is, could be whatever, an older sibling, a aunt, a mother, a grandmother, a mother-in-law, just somebody who you thought of as a mother figure. I guess a Catholic mother. This guy seems very Catholic. He's throwing out the saints. And then I guess somehow or other he decided that it was her mother and she died young. And he didn't tell us how old she was when she died young, just young, because then he's saying, "You don't look like an old bag." That's like, what in the world are you saying? That was rude. A guardian angel looks over you, and she jokes that she was younger than however he is, which is 64 at the time this was made. This looks like a really old recording because people are taking flash photos, and I don't know if people take flash photos anymore with their phones. It just looked very old. So she died young, which is younger than 64, but she doesn't actually give him a year. White lace over your head, which can mean one of 10 different things to him. I bet it does. And when he hears the real McCoy, which to him means that it is the mother, it's the real family member, it's the family member. Okay. And whatever this is, this thing that she's putting over the white lace on your head, whatever that means, don't tell me. Just think about it in your head. Whatever it is, um, it happened. It just happened, or it's about to happen, and it might be a baby, because I see something on your lap, and she's talking about a grandchild. And that must be, and he says, and I understand, and it's the white lace thing. That's what it is. Um, your mother wants you to know that she's watching over you because whatever this white lace thing was, and she wants you to know that she knows about it, and she hopes that her death didn't frighten you. Whatever, okay. And dad is also there, or dad is here. So he says he realizes, probably watching her body language, when he says, I think he said he's bringing forth somebody. Gosh, I get the hiccups when I talk. When I talk to you all, I get the hiccups. Okay, so he starts out by saying, you're she's bringing forth your dad, or she's mentioning your dad, and then I guess based on her body language he wasn't sure if the dad was dead or not, because then he says, well, it could be he's over there, or he's here in the room, or like living. Birth is around you in your lap. It happened recently, or about to happen. I was like, that was awful. Was that a good reading for you guys? Because that was cold. Then he's going to get, what was James next? I don't even know if I should do another. Ugh, that was awful. Um, yeah, again, it looks like I just see a lot of personal, him talking about himself. Now, when he says he was tested, I think he's part of that afterlife thing. And that's with Gary Schwartz and stuff. They all brag about that, but you don't understand. Gary Schwartz is really thought of as is like a quack in the world of mediumship. He's a true believer. Yes, he has a PhD at the University of Arizona, I believe. He has tenure, so there's nothing they can do about him there. And he runs these, or he has run these clinics, or like tests of some sort. And he tested Thomas John, and Thomas John brags about how he's been tested. And Thomas John has been busted so many times for hot reading. It's not even funny. So how is it that Gary Schwartz has any um, bravado or any bragging rights whenever we know how bad his judgment is? I mean, he's tested Suzanne Northrup, and Suzanne Northrup too. I mean, come on. So tested by somebody who has low protocol, not tight protocols, that allows people to get away with um, getting past things with. I think the protocols are, I haven't read one of these studies in a while, but it was kind of a joke. They were making it up kind of, oh, well, maybe you mean this or that. And then it's based on what the sitter says. The sitter says, oh, yeah, that seems accurate. But we know that mediums do that all the time. They sit down with sitters and they give them a reading, and the sitter evaluates it usually as being, yeah, it was pretty accurate because it's so general, and Barnum statements and so on. Even if you take out the control of seeing the person's voice in person and they're giving feedback or listening to the voice, it's still cold reading, and cold reading is a very powerful tool by somebody who knows how to do it. And it can seem very real, especially if you are a believer who believes that this is possible and it's just likely to happen. We're just looking for the right person who's doing this or something. It's not saying a lot to validate what it is in a testing condition if we're just relying on what a person checks marks and says, yeah, that's me, that fits me. Well, it fits, a lot of the statements fit a lot of people. It's very strange. um the independent investigation group, which is now called Center for Inquiry's investigation group, they have a $500,000 challenge of anybody who can, under testing conditions, prove that they have any kind of paranormal ability. And the way that works, and there's other organizations around the world that does this. The Australian skeptics have $100,000, I believe. But the way it works is that you first have to tell them what you can do, under what conditions, and what is your how do we say this? What is the reliability? Under these circumstances, I should be able to do this thing that I say I can do with this amount of reliability. And that's the starting point. I know I worked with the when it was the IIG for many years on this testing thing, and we had a hard time getting people to actually articulate what it is their claim was. They just say, "Oh, I can talk to the dead," or I can I see demons," or whatever. And it was just really hard to say, okay, well, we're testing. We need to have a tight protocol. So what exactly can you do? What would be a way of testing you? And that was really hard for people to grasp, and it was very difficult to test people because they just didn't understand, and they wouldn't respond to emails. And it was as fair as you could possibly get. I can't imagine. You can look at some of the different work that we did, and they're continuing to do it. It's very fair. But I mean, if you said to somebody who says, I'm psychic, I can speak to the dead, okay, and they want to give you a reading, that's not tight protocols. You need something like, what can you do? Can you look at a photograph and tell if the person's living or dead? Like that. And if they say, yes, I absolutely can do that. Okay, well, what are their parameters? What is it? What is the parameters? How would we test that? And then you would just go back and forth in conversation until you come up with some tight parameters. And it might be, one of the person we said is that the pictures all had to be in black and white. They had to be full face, front image, head, shoulders, no beards. They couldn't have anybody has a beard, and they all had to be male. And then they failed, but that was their testing protocol. So like somebody got 10 photographs of people fitting that, no beards, male, black and white images, just close-ups. Some of the people are alive, the people were dead, and then they had controls where somebody was fairly, even their person could be watching and keeping track if they wanted to, where the photos were, I don't even remember this at the point, but like it was written on the front or the back or something, like on the back in some kind of code saying this is a living person, this is a dead person. But the person who's even showing the photo to the person the medium didn't even know the answer, because then they'd be able to give feedback. It was just really, really tight and very, very time consuming. But that's more what we're looking for as far as testing. And it doesn't even have to be photographs. It could be a lot of different things. James Randi did one for a TV show he had. It was those were always so hurried when Randy did them on TV. They took murder weapons, actual murder weapons he got a hold of for somehow, and then he also had some brand new items that they'd gotten at this like hardware store, like a hammer, um, you know, a pickaxe or something like that. They had a row of them. The person was able to come in and touch the items and say, this was a murder weapon. And then they'd open up a card or something that was with it. And it's like, no, that was just purchased at the five and dime store, the hardware store, just, an hour before this. And even Randy didn't know which one was a real murder weapon and what wasn't. And the person failed. So, I mean, that's another way of the person said I could use, that's how I can do it. I can tell if the object, if I hold it in my hand, that if it's was actually a weapon in a murder or not. So, gosh, let's see. Should we look at another one of these? Okay, this is 20 minutes long. I don't think we're going to be able to watch it all. George Henderson clip, Session About My Brother. It's got 16,000 views. It's 12 years ago. It's up by somebody named Inadrim. In the late 80s or early 90s, I read a book called We Don't Die, George Anderson, Conversations with the Other Side. I remember this book when my brother died. I contacted George Anderson's office and got an appointment for a private reading via telephone. When I made the appointment, everything was anonymous. They didn't know my name, my brother's name, nothing. I used a pseudonym for everything. Being familiar with the book, I was not surprised by George's accuracy of depth of info, but I was shocked when George relayed not only my brother's specific word usage and said the words with my brother's exact intonation. This clip is about 22 minutes. The first 20 minutes of the session plus the last 1 or 2 minutes of the session. Oh geez, I don't know if I want to watch this. Okay, let's see. Let's start and see where we go. Like I said, I had a lot of work in the yard today. I'm kind of tired, but let's see. Let's put my picture over here so it looks like I'm looking at it. So this is a phone reading.
I'm sorry, can you say something else?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's definitely better.
Okay. All right, so as long as I have the right number, let's begin and see who comes to visit.
Okay.
And away we go. Well, immediately a male presence comes forward. So it looks like there's two more as well. And there's two females showing up. Well, beginning as they did, a male came forward, so I take it you understand?
Well, yes, I think so.
Yeah, I was going to just say to you, yeah, you're right. You're doing the smart thing. Just say yes so they hear your voice. They know they hooked in because we don't know who it is yet, but this will help build it.
Okay, so I'm sorry, if I talk, that person can hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Okay, so as I said, so a male presence comes forward initially, and, like you thought of something, can't speak.
Wait, I want to pause that a second because she says, if I speak, will they hear me? And I think he said, yeah, I can hear you fine. So I'm just want to clarify that before we go too much further.
That person can hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Okay, so she thinks, so yeah, he...
Okay, so as I said, so a male presence comes forward initially, and, like you thought of something, can't be somebody, so it's good that you just said yes. And this way they hear your voice and it starts to build. This I'm not sure about, but don't explain anything. One male comes as the younger one, understood?
Okay.
But the thing, well, it's okay to yes?
Wait, I'm so sorry. One more time?
One male, there's talk about one of the males being the younger one, understood?
Okay.
And that means yes?
Yes, that means yes.
Okay. because, and I didn't tell you, in my point of view, anybody who passes on less than 70, I consider young by today's standards.
Okay, so anybody under the age of 70 is young. And what he's trying to do with this woman is he's trying to get her to focus on a man. So first she starts off with, I'm getting a man, and then it could be a woman or whatever. And then the woman's like, okay, well, I guess so. And then he says, now we need to get down to, he says, there's two men. This is the younger one. Does that make sense to you, kind of thing? And she's like, yeah, I guess. But so what he's trying to do is make her pick a person, and not, he's going to give her a whole bunch of information, and then that information is going to tell her what dead person. So in other words, he's forcing her to have one person in mind and not keep it open to who comes through. So now I think what's going to happen is that she's going to have to see everything that he says under the umbrella that it's about the person she wants it to be, her brother. So if he had said, like, I'm getting a male figure, and that figure is somebody in the military, and she's thinking to herself, well, that could apply to like 5 or 6 different people in my family. And he says the younger one, and she's like, okay, so that's narrowed it down to maybe 4 people. Then the door is too wide. So, okay, let's just see where this goes.
Oh, okay.
And my challenge to that is I have an aunt who turned 91 last week. So I don't want people saying I'm stretching it too much, because
That's 91 is pretty awesome.
He said that exact same thing in the video we just watched. Does he say that exact same thing on everything he does? Before he said anybody under his age of 64. Now he said 70, and his aunt lived to 91. Okay.
yeah, and she's still going. Obviously has the longevity gene I see in the family, but like, I'm 60. If I pass at 60, I'm going to consider that young.
Okay, we will too.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I don't care what anybody says. But so this male definitely gives me that somebody was talking about the younger one. I'm assuming that's what they mean, because they can mean other things besides just that.
Okay.
For the moment, I'll just leave it with you that that's what they mean.
Okay.
Now, one of the males does come in a father manner, understood?
In a father manner?
Yeah, now that doesn't mean dad.
Okay.
Father manner can mean that, but I have to wait until they explain. But to be honest with you, this male really doesn't seem to be a dad. Seems to be, more like a granddad.
Like a grandfather? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of your granddads has passed, and this one coming through. The fact that there's emphasis, without explaining anything, the fact that there's emphasis on father, possibly the paternal side, I would speculate.
Okay.
But for the moment, I'm going to say that and just leave it with you, because I don't know for sure, but I'm just speculating that because of the emphasis on father.
Okay.
There's also talk of loss of a child, understood?
No.
All right, so this is cold reading again. Oops, where'd it go? Back to the cold reading. Darn it. How did I do that? I hit a button I shouldn't have hit. History.
Oh.
Okay, so one male is like a father figure. Okay. But it doesn't mean it's your father. It could be a father figure, or, I mean, it comes right out and says it, like a grandfather too. He's judging from her voice. She sounds fairly youngish. And so he's probably thinking her father isn't really dead, so it must be like a grandfather. And it's possibly, but not for sure, the paternal side. Well, it's either the maternal or the paternal, so it's one of those two. So if it's not the paternal and it's maybe the maternal, then you don't know nothing, right? You're just throwing stuff out. And then something about a child. A child. Now, where is he going to go with this? We know because we've read the description under this photo, I mean, this video, that she wants to get in contact with her brother. So her brother is not, so this woman probably has not lost a child. So I have a feeling that a child is going to eventually mean the grandfather's, who he knows for sure is dead, grandchild is dead. So, okay, let's see. Oh, I'm glad you're here with me. I really am. I don't know what the heck I'm doing with this. Make that large again. Okay.
They say yes, but they state before birth.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Could have been your mom, whatever.
Okay.
I'm just throwing out possibilities. But the thing is, they did speak about a loss of a child, but they claim before birth. So apparently the soul must be there where somebody didn't make it to the finish line.
Okay.
And it's funny, they emphasize it again. I wonder if I misunderstood something. But, well, that's what I'm going to say for the time being and keep moving.
Okay.
Also. There is also a female presence coming as a grandmother.
Okay.
So I'm sure her grandmother's passed. She does seem to...
Sorry, I keep interrupting here. Okay. This is Church Anderson. Oh my gosh. I have to keep notes. He says there is a child who's passed, and then she's like, "No, I don't know anything about that." And he says, "Oh, well, it died before it was born. There's a soul there, and it could be your mom." In other words, a miscarriage, right? And so even the mother might not have even known she was pregnant at the time, and she miscarried. So that happens. And so, in other words, even if you don't, he's able to throw this out there with no way of backing it up, because it's just, well, I'm there was a child, maybe you, maybe somebody else, maybe your mom, whatever, and now grandma's dead. Oh my gosh. Okay, grandma now, because he thinks grandfather's dead. Okay, all right. We're not getting anywhere so far. Okay, hold on.
specify, or at least gives me the impression, one, you might have known better.
Okay, yes.
Because the one that's coming forward gives me that impression that she knew you better, you knew her better, whatever the story is. There was one that obviously you had more contact with,
Yes.
saw more frequently as such, that she comes because she also specifies being around very much like as a guardian angel, so she's there. Also, I just want to make sure I didn't mistake her, but also a woman coming in a motherly manner, understood?
Yes.
Wait a second, because I'm a little mixed up, because I'm trying to figure out, could it be... No, one lady does come as mom, yes?
Okay, yes.
The real McCoy.
Yes.
Say it again.
No, one lady does come as mom, yes?
Okay, yes.
The real McCoy.
Wait. So he's going back to the real McCoy. Did he say somebody died from the lung? Let me hear that one more time.
A little mixed up, because I'm trying to figure out, could it be... No, one lady does come as mom, yes?
Okay, yes.
The real McCoy.
Yes.
That would mean the actual mom.
Yes.
Okay, because that's what I want to make sure. Now, also, at the time, what confused me is there was talk of a mom, grandmother, again, that maternal side. So without telling me anything, either this grandmother is the mom's mom the one you knew better, or it just so happens that it's her? It's on the maternal side because then your mom was
confused, too.
brought up.
Yeah, yes, that's correct.
This is your mom, though, yes?
Yes.
Okay, because if she's coming, I mean, I have to assume that because you're at the other end of the phone, but she's coming as the real McCoy. That would mean the actual mother to me.
Okay, yes.
So apparently, her and her folks have passed also, yes?
Yes.
All right, so apparently she's coming forward with her own folks, and there's the other grandfather. It seems like all the grandparents are there, understood?
Yes.
Yeah, because the thing is, there's talk about your father's parents and so forth, and now, that could be where I misunderstood. Your mother called Dad again, but your dad is still here
Yes.
on the earth.
Yes.
That's why I'm glad I didn't pay attention, because she must have been coming through and was calling to him. And because I was about ready to start to think your dad had passed, and somebody said, no, you're doing it wrong. So I backed off from it. But apparently your mother calling to your dad and family, and she states that he's here. So without telling me anything, I'm assuming somewhere on the planet.
Yes. Yes.
And so she calls out also. Now, there is a young feeling with your mom, so let me just say this, without telling me anything. Either she passed over young by today's standards as I would see it, or, there's just that young at heart disposition or such.
Yes.
Because I definitely, she could have been, like my aunt, I told her turned 91 last week, but she's very young at heart. So I would, it's like that type of feeling.
Okay.
But again, if she was less than 70, I definitely would consider her young. So you don't have to tell me.
Yes.
They come to you, you know what they're talking about. As long
my
as you get it, that's
gosh.
all that matters to them. Doesn't matter whether I get it or not. I'm just the instrument. So
Okay.
same thing. Leave it with you.
In other words,
Okay.
everybody.
Now, your mom did reach out closely to your dad. Understood?
Yes.
And let me say, at least from over there, she did reach out, because I cut that part out. From over there, she reaches out to him closely.
Okay.
I don't know what their relationship was, but I will tell you that. From over there, she does reach out closely.
Okay.
I'm sure like anybody, they had their ups and downs, but the thing is, from over there, she does reach out closely. She also tells me she knew she was going to pass on, yes?
Yes.
Because she doesn't seem too surprised at where she's at. Certainly did bless you for being good to her prior to her passing, so in whatever way.
Okay.
There's also talk of loss of a brother,
Yes.
but because I heard that earlier, and
Did you hear her voice? Loss of a brother. I'm going to play that back. Did you hear that? This guy's been around for 40 years. He knows how to deal with these read people, even over the
in
phone.
whatever way.
Okay.
There's also talk of loss of a brother,
Yes.
but because I heard that earlier, and I remember I kind of was distracted from it, and now it's coming back again. How it connects to you, I don't know, and don't say whatever you do. But
How does the brother connect to
there's
you?
a male presence that was here earlier and has come back again because seems to know your mom.
Yes.
And there's talk of the two of them being together over there.
Yes.
Now, I'm also wondering if, without telling me anything, don't help me, let them do it. I'll just feel better. If this brother could have also been where, even though there was a loss before birth, they told me earlier it seemed like I was screwing something up. So let me speculate that there's a good possibility this brother could have also been the reason I was hearing about the loss of before birth and an actual one. So, even though he might not have been 5 years old at the time, but in any case, however he connects, he's definitely coming as a brother without telling anything, and he does state that him and your mom are together over there.
I called it, didn't I? I said, if he gets a brother, then it's going to be, it could, or no, when he said a child, that child could be anybody's child. It could have been her child, it could have been the grandma's child, it could have been anybody's child, it could be her brother. She specifically wants to hear from her brother, but her brother's also the child of her mother that he's determined in 10 minutes. It's taken 10 minutes. We're at half the reading, and he's finally decided that her mother's dead and her grandparents are dead, and now there is a child that died. And from the voice, her saying yes, that totally different from all the other times she said anything, that is the child that they were referring to earlier. So I called it. It was just so vague that it could fit anything when he said there's a child that had died.
Okay.
And, whose brother is it, I don't know yet, don't say. But the thing is, definitely him and your mom together. Now, of course, if his folks are there with him, well, naturally, they would refer to him as a child of the son that passed on, as was heard earlier. But the thing is, I'll just leave that go, that the two of them together, because he certainly does call out to you as well. And just to cover my tracks, again, without telling me anything, with this brother, if, like, a parent is still on the earth, that's another reason I'll get the loss of a child, that sort of thing. But I'm just going to say what they tell me and not put in what I think. I'm just trying to cover all bases of possibilities. But the thing is, as is stated, him and your mom together. Also, now your mother stated she was walking fine and back to her old self. Understood?
Oh, man.
Yes.
Because, I don't think she, without telling me anything, I don't think she was crippled, but I just
So
felt like my balance
she's
was
walking
off
over there in
kilter.
heaven.
Yes.
So probably because she states, she talked about, in essence, starting to progressively lose her independence.
Yes.
Which I can't say I blame. I'm not in your shoes, but, as she said, you start to lose your initiative to stick around.
Okay.
Once, she started, she gives me the impression she certainly would not want to be a burden to herself or anybody else.
Yes.
No
Can't
kidding.
say I blame her. But the thing is, now that she states she's walking fine and back to her old self, all of what transpired, as she puts it, is water under the bridge, and, she's all right and in a happy place.
Yes.
Yes, as if she
Yeah,
knows.
again, she says she knew she was going to pass on in spite of, without telling me whatever she felt about what happens when you pass away. That's her message as of now.
Okay.
Now, see, this is what's confusing me, and of course you can't explain anything, but there again is the talk of loss of a brother.
Yes.
I think I got more than one person, though, because somebody also is talking about loss of a brother and then claims he's an uncle. So I'd have to speculate one of your folks lost a brother or brother-in-law
Yes.
as well. But there is an actual brother, yes. Understood?
Yes.
Yeah, because somebody keeps coming to you as a brother, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got two males here who are both sending out the same signal. One claims he's a
kidding.
brother, and then he stated he was an uncle. I'm assuming he means to you without helping me.
Yes.
And again, brother-in-law to one of your parents.
Yes.
All right, because he states, but see, that's what's bothering me. Somebody keeps saying he's the actual brother, which makes me kind of think that you lost a brother also.
Yes.
Okay?
So she just revealed it there, and you can hear it from her voice. She lost a brother too. So at any point, George could just say the person's name, and then we'd be done with all this guessing. We're at 14 minutes in. He hasn't said a single name. And, that would have cleared up everything, wouldn't it? instead of this back and forth, a brother, and a grandmother. No, maybe I'm getting some. Wow.
'Cause I must have two. There must be two males here. The one identified as an uncle. The other one keeps stating he's a brother. Then he stated he was the actual brother. I have to assume that you lost the brother also.
Yes.
Because he also keeps bringing me back to the beginning of the session when there was talk of loss of a child. Yes, before birth, but an actual loss as well. And your dad's still on the earth. That would justify somebody saying, I'm the son, I'm the child passed on because the parents are still here.
Yes.
Does come very close to you, yes?
Yes.
No
You
kidding.
know, at least from over there, again, don't say anything, I don't know what your
Brother.
relationship was, but certainly from over there, I will say he does come very close to you.
Yes.
And he definitely passed young, yes?
Yes.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
I mean, I don't say how old, but certainly younger than me, as he's telling me.
Yes.
Duh.
Rather joking manner. He said, oh, it's a lot younger than you. So I'm like, well, that's fine, as long as you're right.
Okay.
Now, he speaks of, definitely thus far, certainly seems to have a nice personality, understood?
Yes.
You know, he kind of cracks me up.
Yes.
The way he said to me, oh, I was a lot younger than you, like, haha, making fun of me, because of the fact, I'm 60, and I said, that's all right, as long as you're right, that's all I care about. Now, he speaks of tragic passing, yes?
Yes.
Age, of course, but circumstances also.
Wait, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
He said age, of course. He spoke of tragic circumstances
Yes.
in regards to his passing, but in the sense of age, most definitely, but also in circumstances.
Yes.
And funny, he also states he knew he was going to pass on. I don't think he came up and announced anything, but obviously when he got there, realized he's where he's supposed to be, so to speak. But it's not significant. It's not a big deal, so let's just leave it alone and keep going. But definitely, in case you've wondered, him and your mom together over there, as he states, along with the grandparents. Yeah, your brother does speak of a tragic passing, yes?
Yes.
What's
As
his
he brings
name?
up, he does show me a ballpark. That normally means it comes out of left field, understood?
Yes.
So apparently sudden or unexpected.
Yes.
You just said it was. He knew he's supposed to be there.
Again, I don't know what your relationship was. I'm assuming, without telling me anything, that it was significant because it certainly does reach to you as a pal as well as a brother.
Yes.
And hopes that you'll agree with him that as long as you know him and your mom are together, it doesn't cure anything, but you'll sleep a little better tonight. And again, the same thing with him. He does reach out to your dad, but is reaching out to you very singularly because, sometimes people may not think a bereaved sibling, has it as bad as the parents do, but, certainly knows that a lot of times you may kind of not know how you're supposed to feel.
Yes.
Because I had my best friend lost his brother at a young age, and people see him, they'll say, like, how are your parents doing? And this.
So she's starting to cry. You can hear her crying. He said, were you guys close? I mean, this is so vague. And he says, you'll sleep better tonight. He said that exact same phrase in the video we watched earlier I've only seen 2 videos of his readings ever. And he's already saying over and over the same phrases in both of those. This is ridiculous. You can hear her crying. So all he said is that you were close to your brother. That's basically all he said to her. And she's had an emotional reaction. She's crying. So he knows he's got her. Let's see where he goes with this. We only have a few more minutes. thankfully.
was, his favorite brother, his best friend, and all of that. So sometimes, people, they mean well, but maybe don't get it to that degree. So your brother brings all that to my attention in regards to you.
Okay.
He did describe, without explaining anything, he did describe his passing as accidental, yes?
Yes.
Because again, comes out of left field, and he seems to pass one moment to the next.
Yes.
Also, just wants to make sure you know he didn't suffer at the time of passing,
Okay.
in spite of how unattractive it might have looked or sounded. He definitely brings that up as well. Yeah, he does speak of it being accidental, yes?
Yes.
She's already said that.
Yeah, and without explaining anything, he brings up no one's at fault, no one's to blame. Understood?
Yes.
Yeah, he describes it as accidental, and then he says that. So, again, keep in mind, he's coming to you assuming you know what he's talking about. You don't have to tell me, but as long as you get it, that's all I care about.
Yes.
Also states he has come in dreams, yes?
I don't understand.
Well, he says he's visited you in dreams. If you're not sure, I got to cut him rope on this one because you just may not remember. I mean, I dreamt last night. I can remember bits and pieces, but I certainly can't remember everything. So let me just leave it with you that he states
Okay.
he has come in dreams.
Okay.
But in the future, if you do recall, as long as they're always comforting visitations, that's genuine communication. Anything that upsets you, never pay any attention to it. You can certainly have anxiety over it as well.
Okay.
Also, he did speak of injury to the head, yes?
Yes.
Because it felt like I got tapped down the head here, and obviously then he spoke of injury to the head, so apparently injury to the head, and then he snapped his fingers at me, which would mean, one moment to the next.
Okay. Okay.
So, but they do, because your brother certainly does embrace with love along with your mom, and that they are all right and a happy place. Brother especially hopes they'll take some of the bite off, that as long as the two of them are together and that they're all right. But with that, they pull back along with the other people, and with that, they sign off, and there they go.
Wait, that's it?
A lot of questions about
Wait.
potential government shutdown on the horizon.
What the heck? I don't want to watch her. Wait, that was it?
Oh.
That was it? Let's look at this. What? It just ended. I was waiting for something good. Okay, look at here. It says, all right. Oh my gosh. Being familiar with the book, I was not surprised by George's accuracy or depth of information, but I was shocked when George relayed not only my brother's specific word usage and said the words with my brother's exact intonation. What? Specific word usage in the ballpark, or where I was here and gone. I mean, none of that was. This is a motivated sitter. She is paid good money and she's wasted 20 minutes of her time to listen to this guy tell her diddly squat. That is super sad. I wasn't paying attention. I started filing my nail at the end. I didn't see that the ending was coming that quick. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't see any specific information. No names were mentioned. He figured out after a lot of trial and error that it was a brother. Her brother was the one that she was hoping to hear from, and that he's younger than 60. And as we know, when you're talking about a male, and they died young, probably in the 30s or 40s or 20s or even teens. When we get in that range, a lot of it is accidental. They're not dying from cancer. They're not dying from, a lung condition or something like that. I think a lot of them, I think if you look at it, it's probably from unaliving themselves or a drug problem, or it was an accident, motorcycles, cars, whatever. He's in the military, and there was a something that went off, and that was the end of their lives. We don't know, but George doesn't either. He's just playing the odds. And he says, it was really fast, but he's leading her along and she's giving him the information. And then from the voice inflections, you can hear it around you. So this was really bad. Um, and okay, so here's my impressions just from watching two of these guys' videos. He's been around for a long time. He thinks he's the OG of mediumship, I'm sure. These are awful cold readings, both of we've heard. He's giving him such a wide range. Somebody young, but anybody under 70 I consider young. And he's using the exact same phrases on the two videos we saw years apart from each other. So I think he said he was 66 in the first video. And then the second video, I think he said he was 60. So 6 years apart, and he's using exactly the same phraseology. He found out her brother had a nice personality, and he had a tragic passing. They were close. You'll sleep better tonight. Passing was accidental. That was really awful. Okay. So going back to the person who asked me if I did this, Mel Phillips 969. Thank you for introducing me to this person. I don't think I'm going to be listening to any more of his videos. I would say cold reading, big time cold reader, uh, pretty bad cold reading. If you have a clip that's good, that has a lot more of a reading from it than these two random ones we found, then I'd like to see it. But at this point, if it's not any better than that, wow. And then, as I said, you can read what the woman wrote about herself, what she wrote about the reading. And she's totally a motivated sitter. She totally believes that he got it specific. But as I said, 14 minutes of it was just trying to figure out, is mom dead? Is dad alive? I don't know. Whose grandparents are these? Oh, there's a guy, I think, or there's two guys. One's a brother, one's an uncle. Which one? I don't know. If he just said some names, we would have had clarity in minute one, and we could have gone on to the better parts of the reading, and he could have given us some good information to this woman. But that was awful. I'm so sorry. I I'm super sorry to this poor person who didn't know. And Mel, send me something good. Send me something good. Woo woo. Because you guys, I'm happy to do videos on these mediums that you have questions about. But come on now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know it's going to come down to a couple things. And if that, I no. Anyway, comments under this video. Hopefully it's all recorded just fine because like I said, Zoom, this is weird. It's all different. Everything's different, completely different. So hopefully I can figure out how to upload this darn thing. I don't like to edit anymore. I'm no big dog in the world of YouTube here. So I just want to turn out content, and thank you guys for being here with me. I appreciate it.